Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Notice of a public meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation Board of Directors pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation will be held Monday, July 27, 2026 at 5:30 in the El Valle Room at the Ebert Center for Business and Commercialization. Item number 1 will be called to order. Cesar Lopez. Dr. Rose Gowen. Murad Abasalim. Sergio Martinez.
Present.
Oh yeah, friendly reminder, 3 fingers tap on the microphone.
Yes.
Thank you. Tracy, Sergio Martinez, I already said it. Tracy Wickett.
Here.
Thank you. Michael Rodriguez.
Present.
Stephanie Galvez.
Present.
Thank you. Item number 2 is public comment. At the moment, we do not have any public comments. We will be moving on to item number 3, consent agenda items. All items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. If requested by a board member, any item may be taken off the consent agenda by chair for individual consideration.
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 4, we have staff reports. We'll be starting off with Eric Quintero, Director of Community Development.
Hello. For this staff report, I'm just going to be going over the results from our Big Lift program through Cycle 1. So throughout June 1st to July 10th, we had our first cycle for District 1. After meeting with multiple commissioners and doing some outreach, as well as meeting with the rest of the board, some of our board members, we were able to get 15 applications received, a total of $421,000 in grant requests. And from those 421, we are also leveraging $335,000 of owner private investment, totaling $757,000 total dollars in reinvestment for District 1. 100% of the applications were owner-owned buildings, no renters applied. 13 of the 15 requested the full $30,000 cap, and we did also have 14 applications in draft, which are still potential for our next cycle. So what industries and improvements are driving the demand? We had a good mix of businesses that ended up applying. 6 retail, 4 car dealerships, 3 restaurants, 1 consumer service, and a storage facility. The most requested improvements were facade, parking lot, and signage as the top 3. The bottom 3 being restoration, which is the awning, painting, power washing, then doors, windows, and landscaping. Yes, ma'am.
The storage facility, is that a chain, most storage facility, or is it privately owned?
Privately owned. So what's next? Right now, staff is evaluating the applications to seeing which one we're going to be deeming to present to you, the board, during workshops. So it'll be workshops similar to how we did the Big Lift guidelines, where we met in sections to present to you all our findings and our recommendations for our August board meeting to do an official vote for the presented approvals. We did want to highlight the outreach and the success of it. We kind of got out of our comfort zone a little bit. We had Nelson on Telemundo live doing the Spanish presentation. I did a couple interviews with the other news channels. On our Big Lift interest form, we had over 3,900 views on it. It has actually since gone up since I started since I submitted this information. 318 of those started the form with 92 submissions. When I last spoke, the percentage rate was still around this percentage, so it stayed consistent. And the average completion time is only 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So it's showing that the application is not taking too long, where it's dragging, where people lose interest. And this is the beauty number. Through all our our modeling through, and in our interviews, our postings, our billboard, over 487,000 clicks and views. And that is just the beginning.
I have a question again.
Yes.
Do we know why? Sorry. So it only took 4 minutes to complete the application?
The interest form. So
The
this,
interest form.
yes, this interest form, through the 92 submissions, I was able to find some that were actually District 1 that I was able to refer to the application already. That way they would not have to wait. The bulk of them are District 2, 3, and 4. So it is already starting the foundation for when we do open up the next cycles. And we were able to find also some that were already within the downtown area that were District 3 or District 1, but they fall under the downtown big boundaries. So I have reached out and let them know, hey, we already have this program through a separate cycle, so they could reach out.
And so the reason that only 92 of the 318 submitted, in other words, why did they start but not finish? Because they were in the wrong district, or the
Correct.
application was too
Well,
hard, or?
Most of them fell off when it started asking for their first name. Yes, yeah. Most of them was just a fall off on the first name that we were able to also catch partials. So we do have names, or wherever they did fall off. So some people fill out name, email, and then stop the application. So I do have the ability to reach out to them and say, hey, did you have questions? Did you have
Eric.
difficulties? Yes.
Application or interest form?
Interest form, sorry. Interest form. So, yeah, we were able to capture information on the interest form. That way I can reach out to see if they had any questions, any difficulties, see where that gap is, to turn that 28.9% to, wishful thinking 50%.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a question. If you go back. So we have complete 92 submissions.
For the
Those
interest form.
Completed the form.
Correct.
Oh, interest form?
Interest form, yes.
Those are still interest forms,
Correct.
okay.
These are, the bulk of them, I would say maybe 65 are District 2, 3, and 4. Nelson and I are discussing to changing interest form to another word, to not have application. Going on to the rollout schedule, just a reminder that District 2 does start September 1st. So after we come back next week, I will be starting to do outbounds again for District 2, as well as meeting with Commissioner Macias.
Eric, have you met with the district commission? Have you met with each district commissioner?
I've met with 5 of the 7.
Good.
I have a question on I have a question about the next step. Like
Okay.
you said, we have 15 applications, right?
Correct.
That are qualifying for the act.
15 applications that are submitted.
15 submitted. You're gonna do with your staff your diligence to see who actually qualify.
Correct.
So we might be less than 50. So just thinking out loud, instead of going through 3 sessions with smaller groups of the board, maybe we can do just a special session for that, since it's the first round we're doing it, and do it all at once, dedicated for this program, rather than because you know what's gonna happen. Now we're doing it the first time. You're gonna meet with 2, you're gonna meet with other 2, and it's gonna take a while to get to consensus of how we're gonna award, the grant. So I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm sharing this thought with my colleagues here, is like, instead of going through this small group meetings, just do a special meeting to go over your final list of the applicants who qualified, and, and just do the ranking.
So a special call meeting for.
I mean, just an idea I'm throwing out there so we can discuss.
Okay. If the board's okay with that, I'm totally fine with that too.
Consensus?
I'm sorry.
Are you okay with that?
I'm good?
Okay.
Sorry. Very solid.
We'll reach out next week or even this week to start pulling the board on that. Because we also need to know when you'll be able to have it completed too.
Yeah. Okay. Got it? Yeah? Any other questions? I see the wheels turning. Any questions?
Many congratulations.
It was I'm very grateful for this team. It was truly a team effort. I can't wait for Nelly to come join the fight with me.
I just want to say whoa, it's exciting, and I did see all the news coverage in addition to Telemundo and I think KRGV covered it.
Yes, they spelled my name Quintero. It hurts, but it's fine.
But great job, guys.
Thank you.
It just shows that the community is very interested and very excited that we're doing something for all of Brownsville.
Oh, spoilers.
Thank you, Eric. Next up is Daniel Silva, Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation.
Good afternoon, everybody. So to keep you all informed on the activities taking place in our department, last month we came to you talking about some software that... Is that what this is for? Yes. The green button. The pointer? Oh, the middle green button, not the pointer green button. Got it. Okay. Last month we talked about some software that we're looking at based on conversation that we had at our workshop. We decided to move forward with EcoMap. You all saw it in the consent agenda. EcoMap is, in my opinion, a fantastic software web application integration that we're going to be able to use to be able to map out all of the businesses that we're assisting, give them online presence. They'll get cards on our website. You'll be able to look at who took advantage of what programs. It also maps out resources within the community. So this will be for businesses that are looking for assistance or resource, and they can go to our website. There'll be ways that we can, through SEO and other just online presences, be able to point people in this direction and have more traffic to our website. But more specifically, this will allow for us to show all of who we are assisting, talk about what the business is, what programs I've went through, and then it will really allow for us to quantify and be able to put businesses to programs. We decided to not move forward with Size Up, which was the other program that I had, other software that I had discussed. We had a couple of meetings. We also met with another entity that uses them. It was more of a chamber-related activity. It allowed for them to provide a service to their members, so we decided to not move forward with that. Yes,
Can
sir.
we ask a question about that?
Of course.
I mean, I see that you talk about the businesses, which is important, right? We need to do that and highlight where we, as you just said, like location, this and that. But is that also, could we use the same software to also highlight the nonprofit organization that we have supported in the last few years and talk about their services? Because that's kind of like a resource to the community, but at the same time emphasize what we as an organization have been able to support. And in addition to that, all the parks that indirectly we have been, providing assistance through, the city and so forth. So this is not exclusive for just businesses. It's everything that we have been doing will be encompassed in this.
The vision is for us to be able to put into a graphic or a map-based visualization of everything that we do that assists, all the money that goes out. We've heard the comments, well, what are we doing? We do a lot of training. We do a lot of qualitative, but not so much quantitative. So this will allow for us to give visual representation of all of this.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Danny. I'm excited about this. I think telling our story is always tough, and I'm glad you're thinking of this terms. How do we make it easy for our community to understand the important work that we're doing?
Yeah, you're welcome. And this is, just the first step in it. With Border and Sea, we're going to start doing more spotlights, looking at some of these businesses, doing more outward-facing messaging, because we do want people. At the end of the day, my objective is to be able to get, I say it sounds kind of cliche, but somebody to bump into you all at the grocery store and say, thank you so much for the program that you helped us with, and be able to put faces to businesses and really tell the story. We opened up our next round, our second cohort of our Startup Texas Accelerator. We've had 20 applicants complete their application. We've had 61 that are in draft mode. 61 was at the time that I created this last week. We probably have a couple more, but we're going to have a great cohort of individuals going through our Startup Texas Accelerator. Just wanted to keep you all posted. That closes August 10th. I've asked to answer that 25 times, and I almost got it wrong again. But the 10th of August.
Can you remind me where capacity is for that?
I want to say that what was the capacity? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And so some of those 20 are going to be filtered out because they're not going to be tech-based, but it's still a way for us to catch their information. There's other programs that we want to start to create that will allow for us to say, you can't go, this isn't made for you, but we have this other program. Another offering that we have here in the building is our Blueprint Lab. We had the ribbon cutting a couple months ago. I created SOPs for all of our equipment because, you know, we have CNC operating machines, we have plastic injection, we have 3D printers, drill presses, all of that requires safety and protocol and also for the whole space. So we created that, also created a 12-week calendar. I shared it with Eber, who is he's our sophomore engineering student from UTRGV, and he's up in the space part-time, and the idea is through that 12 weeks for us to be able to offer programs for individuals to come in, sit through his classes, like what is Makerspace 101, what is CAD? We had that discussion a little bit earlier, but providing those resources and starting programmatic offerings so people can look at our calendar, which is something else that we're going to be able to do through the EcoMap software, is to put our calendar up for people to be able to sign up and to reserve time with our expert and hopefully be able to help them.
Have we received any interest, like from local businesses or entrepreneurs?
So on Friday, Eber and I went through all of the SOPs and went through the calendar. There's some changes that we're going to make, and then I'm going to make it public, and then we'll start offering. So I'll keep you all posted, but you'll see a lot of advertisement about that here in the near future.
And are we in process to install the laser cutter downstairs? Or
Yes.
Is that on hold?
So we've had a quote for the mini split and for the closing of the doors. Once that happens, then we can unpack the laser cutter, and then there's another piece of equipment that I'd like to put down there, but we're working on that. I think we got the quote last week, which was, anyways, we're going to work through that.
And that will be part of the blueprint.
It
I
will
know
be.
the location is different, but
Yes,
as
but
a
it will
package,
still be
it's-
this, yeah, he'll oversee that, and, it's a larger piece of equipment. I think that it's a good place to put it because it is, it's a laser cutter, it is more dangerous, for safety concerns.
I'm excited about the lab, and I'm sure you're thinking about this, but I know in the future, I wanted to know how we can showcase how often it's being used or what programs are being impactful because of the lab's presence.
Yeah, we'll through marketing, I think in Border and Sea is something that we can also talk about, but we'll record footage, we'll put together marketing information based on it, and then once we have the calendar, it will be a dynamic process. They can click on it, they can see what is the content of that class, and then they can sign up, and then after that, they could follow up with one-on-one, so.
I really think beside the business side of it, there is a great opportunity here to partner with the local school districts, including the private and the charter schools, especially the ones that don't have labs, because I know many of the public schools now, they have their own prototyping, CT
Yes.
store, but there are others that don't. And maybe we can do it in a way we can provide camps, after hours camps, whatever, where we can have cohorts from these schools come in and enjoy using it and also train them, skill them
Yes.
to train. So there is these kind of opportunities. Let me know if I can help in any way to kind of get connection.
Definitely will. So I sit on the Texas Science and Engineering Fair Board, and when I go and listen to the kids at the state fair pitching in the competition on what their science fair project was, there's some of them who didn't have a way to be able to create a prototype. And surprisingly, I shouldn't say surprisingly, I'm proud of it, and I've seen it year after year, but this past year we had 125 out of our 1,000 participants come from the Rio Grande Valley, and a big portion of that was from Brownsville. So yes, reaching out to the CTE instructors and making sure that we incorporate them. The data center is also another activity or resource that we have upstairs in the Blueprint Lab area. It provides us another opportunity to provide resource People can rent out server space, they can spin up AI models in it. One of the things that we ran into was that a lot of the licensing, or a lot of the companies were asking, do you have a redundant energy source in the case that the building loses power? And, because if they're going to be using this as a remote storage center, they want to make sure that their data is heavily protected. So we reach out to Texas Gas. Corey started a conversation with them, and there's a grant that we've applied for, and we're going through the process. I've been told that it's already gone through 2 of the I's. There's a total of 5. They didn't want to say it's a green light yet, but we shall hopefully find out in the next couple of weeks. But that includes everything from the concrete pad underneath, the generator, the piping from the gas line to us, and then the piping into the electricity, or the panels, with the total of about $25,000. So Texas Gas said, we like it, we understand the purpose, and we're waiting final approval.
Of this project, I guess my only recommendation is maybe we need to rethink the term data center.
We are already looking at changing it
Seems to be creating a lot of commotion in our community.
Yes, you're completely right. So, yeah, we actually last week were going through some iterations of a name, but it will not be finalized as the data center. I don't want more eyes on us than we need, or complaints. And the last thing I wanted to report on was our digital playbook. It's another program that we're offering through ECC. It's to help companies market themselves. We're doing a lot with Big Lift on providing resource for companies to make their facade look better, so that way people will come to their business. This is a process so that way the online visualization of the company is improved, giving them resource, giving them knowledge, giving them understanding on why is it important to have a website, what are the things that you do for social media to bring more attraction, SEO strategies, and really a lot to basically consider it their online presence.
Is this offer for free for the client?
Yes.
Like for our, okay, and how is it being supported through our, which program?
So
Sponsored?
it's a new one. So it's through our eBridge Accelerator, but it's our marketing program that we just started, and it's called the Digital Playbook through ECC.
Okay.
If memory serves, this is replacing one of our Kaufmans. So a price that we had for our Kaufman with UTRGV is now being replaced for this. So we're still paying UTRGV to do the cohort.
So how does this, is it applicable, or is there eligibility, I can't say that word, for the entrepreneurs at the farmer's market? I asked that question because there are quite a few businesses that have started at the farmer's market now, and there are more in the pipeline. So is there a way for them to take advantage of something like that?
If I may, we actually did talk with Murad last week to find out, to do specific programming just for the vendors, since there's so many. And we decided to go through a survey to find out where their needs are. And then we can take the program, deciding if the programming should be there at the cannery, here at eBridge, or somewhere else.
Okay, and I would include talking to those who have begun, and there's probably at least 10 of them there, and ask them as well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be want to reach out to all the vendors to find out what is their.
No, I mean those that already have storefronts.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Have
most definitely.
started as an incubator, but then went on to develop a storefront.
Yeah, those could be with that, the digital playbook.
Right.
But we want to do something specifically for the farmers market, since there's so many of them.
Daniel, going back to the data center, is that already like self-sustaining itself or profitable for us? And
So we have not made it available. We haven't marketed it yet, for the reason that we needed that redundant data source, redundant power source. At the time that we make it available, I mean, it is going to all be, the equipment's already there. It manages our network. I think it's a very bona fide network system. There's a lot of capacity there. We've already made the improvements, so yeah, I mean, it will generate some sort of revenue, which should be just kind of like another tenant in one of the rental spaces.
And it originally was certified for DOD Tier 1, So it can help with any of our vendors who have contracts with the federal government that are required to have a secure data room. But we had to make some changes, so we have to go for a recertification, which we will, just because of, one, it's a benefit for our entrepreneurs, but because of what is in the horizon of new industry coming into here, it's even more important to have that certification.
If the grant doesn't go through, then what are we gonna look for?
So
Or what's the timeline where we can start advertising it and try and get it going?
Yeah, so if the grant doesn't go through, then we will pay for the improvements. Well, yes, if it doesn't go through, we're live. So they do understand, if they don't grant it to us, we still have a need for it. So we will move forward with the improvements, and then we can start marketing. So I would imagine that, within the next 3 to 4 months, we would have it operational.
Is that something that maybe we potentially should look forward to for our budget? Maybe planning for that in case if it doesn't happen? How much is the grant for?
It'll be $25,000.
25,000.
It looks favorable. I think that it's, yeah, but to your point, I think we should have
Yeah, I'll see a
Plan B.
prayer for it as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, light some candles.
Ideally, we should know before the end of our budget year.
Yeah.
We should know the grant status, so we could take it out of this budget year.
Yeah,
Because we do have funds.
Yeah, I was told probably mid to late September. We'll find out. Any other questions?
Just my question, I guess, we have Eco Maps, which is different. We have data center, and then we have digital playbook, right? So just to kind of, for the next time, maybe a little bit of what's the distinction between the three different platforms? Like, what are we able to accomplish with this versus that versus that, right? Or who will be the target clientele or customers?
Okay.
Right?
I can do this
So that
pretty summary.
way when we are, for myself first to understand, are we duplicating some of these services by using three different, I mean, I'm not saying we are, it's just for me to understand that, right? And also to be able to explain it to the public.
Understood.
Like, if you are looking for X, this is your, to-go program. If you're looking for Y, that's what you go for, right? And so
Yes.
forth. So, thank you.
I'll work on that. Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
All right, next is Corey Peña, President/CEO.
Just quickly, I wanted to provide an update on what's been going on in July since I've been back. I got back from vacation on July 6th. Cesar and I were fortunate enough to meet with the mayor and the city manager last week, and the dialogue was about our budget as well as our commitment with the city. It was a great conversation. We have to go back. The city asked us to go back because we asked if there was a way to look at their commitment to see if we could cap it. So that way for budgeting, for our future budgeting, it would benefit, but also we did say that, some of our programming has been limited because of the funding that we don't have. So the city has asked us to come back and ask for more data to show, what have we left on the table, what are the future impact for it. So the staff and I are working on that. Additionally, there is in our strategic plan a roundtable with GBEC, the city. Actually, it was scheduled for last week, but the city manager rescheduled it. So it's sometime in August, so that is coming forward. So that would be GBEC, the chamber, city, and ourselves at that table for staff. For programs, been looking at, we have that business advancement fund, so I've been looking at that to see what we can do to tighten it, how it can improve our impact for entrepreneurship and small business. So we will probably be taking that back into September for the board to look at and evaluate to see if you approve the recommended changes to that program. I mentioned that we had a meeting with Murad. He is now the new director for the Brownsville Wellness Coalition. We talked about the collaboration between BCIC, eBridge, and the cannery because the cannery will be going online hopefully this fall. And we had a great conversation. I pitched a couple ideas that I had for Murad. One is the kitchen incubator, since there is a kitchen. We do have a meeting with the city next week, right? Next week as well, to talk about cannery and the kitchen. But my idea for the kitchen incubator is looking for a way for our local entrepreneurs to become a vendor for local restaurants. So it kind of has that supply chain thing. So we're looking into that and what other type of programs can benefit at the cannery. And for operations, we have put in a notice that we are hiring Ruby for our operations coordinator, that will be replacing Nellie, as she will be moving into the department program coordinator with Eric to help him with his grants, because he desperately needs help with, especially the reimbursement, the admin stuff needs help with. So we're real excited. She's actually going to start on the 10th for that. Want to let y'all know, Eric and I were invited by the city to travel with them. We're leaving tomorrow. We are traveling to Greenville, South Carolina. We are visiting the USL team there called the Triumph. They have a similar structure of what the city and BCIC is looking at, with the stadium and then a retail component, retail mixed use, residential. So we're looking at that to see have conversations with the city, have conversations with the team, and we're actually got invited to go to a game this week and to see, how they all worked and what kind of incentives was for the private landowner, the city, county, look at all that to see what we can bring back for us. And lastly, I wanted to just do a big shout out to the team on our recognition, again, with IEDC for this year. We received 4 awards that we will be accepting in October in New Orleans at the IEDC conference. Very excited. We keep getting recognized for IEDC as well as other organizations. Speaking of other organizations, Daniel and I got invited just today to go to San Francisco, go to Silicon Valley in October as a special invite. Only 50 people are invited to, hear about innovation, tech for entrepreneurs. So we are very excited about going to that in October.
We'll be able to see how deals are structured, how investors are found, and really what is the process for these founders the process for these founders to accelerate and really just the entire process. And we'll be taking a couple of tours of some really cool facilities, Google to be one of them.
Yeah. And we're hoping one of our wish lists is we will be able to bring back ideas for speakers.
Yes. And so the entity that invited us, they also reached out to us about applying for an Ascend grant, which will allow for us to help small businesses. And there's an 80-20 split that's required. There's an 80% coverage by the grant, 20% that's the responsibility of us, but they have told us that they'd be willing to cover that 20%, so it would cost us nothing. But we'll be able to offer more programs for our startup businesses.
So this is January 8 out of Austin who invited us. So we're real excited about that. There is also an opportunity to attend the conference at IEDC in October. I sent an email on Friday, so if you're interested, let me know. Also, we will be accompanying the Chamber of Commerce and the city for Washington Day, Brownsville, in September. So there is also an opportunity for our board to go along with Daniel and myself as well. So please let me know if you're interested on that. And that's really my updates for July. Any questions?
All right, moving on to items for individual consideration. Item number 5, consideration, discussion, and acknowledgement for the June 2026 financial reports and the quarterly investment report for the period ending June 30th, 2026.
Good afternoon, Board. Rafael Garcia from the City of Brownsville. Today I'll be presenting the financial reports through the month of June 2026. As we can see here, the first one is the balance sheet that we're presenting. Total assets was 21.9 million, mostly consisting of the investments in the pools and money markets and in the cash account. We have $1 million that's as account receivables, which is comprised of the sales tax for the month of May, and we're still pending a payment from the EDA from fiscal year 2025 for $358,000 approximately.
When does the fiscal year end again for you all?
The fiscal year ends on September 30th. The accounts payable we have is at $2 million, and those are payable to the City of Brownsville. We're still pending, City of Brownsville is still pending payment for the sports park M&O contract for 2025, and for some quality of life projects for $1.5 million. And then we do have the fund balances. We have 432,000 restricted, 14,545,000 in committed, which committed is made up of the big grants, quality of life projects, and the community development strategic initiatives. We do have 629,000 in entrepreneur and strategic initiatives and sponsorships. We do have the 3 million as the rainy day fund, the reserve, and 30,000 in the E-Bridge Capital Improvement Fund. So leaving us with unrestricted fund balance that's available to fund future projects of 1.2 million. Any questions on this first one?
I have a question about the big grant. Is
Yes.
that, Corey, is that specifically the big, or is it also including all the other programs that we have under the development, the economic development, meaning the entrepreneurship? This is just,
Specifically just big
Big,
is
okay.
what, almost 1.2 million.
okay.
I did, in your packet, there is a breakdown of big grants. But that's what we predict by the end of September, what would still be remaining. So it may not match. No.
Thank you.
The following slide is budget to actual comparisons through the month of June. As we can see, we're at 6.3 million total revenues compared to last year with a 6.2. So we are a little bit ahead from last year. And this is, we're reporting the sales taxes through the month of May. We won't get the June numbers until next month. So as we can see, we're at 71% in total collections than what was budgeted for fiscal year 2026. And then the following page that we have are the expenses. Yes.
We have it, but we haven't received it? The JB?
That's the 2025 one. There's two. There's a 25 and 26 budget of $500,000. So in our budget amendment that we did earlier this year, we included that amount. Does that make sense?
Okay,
So if they paid, are they?
They already
They
gave
paid.
us, yeah, it's check received.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, so on the expenses, we do have 3.8 million in expenses compared to last year. We were at 4.2. So expenses have actually been, have decreased a little bit, but we're at 75%, and that includes what has been encumbered and committed throughout the fiscal year, which is 15.6 million that has been encumbered. And these encumbrance and committed balances goes back to projects were approved in prior years before the fiscal year 2026, and it also includes 2026 projects that were approved. We're still, basically, we're still pending to pay some of the actual, projects that have been approved. The projects that have been approved, they don't get paid until I think we, or the city, or the the businesses submit their paperwork so they can get reimbursed. So I think we're still pending to pay out those items that haven't been billed to BCIC.
Okay.
I believe that's how it works on the reimbursement, right? For those for those big projects? It's
They're
a It's a reimbursement?
Yeah, they're reimbursed.
Right.
So we
So
commit, but we don't,
They
it's not
invoice you.
exhausted,
They need to
expended.
invoice you before, you reimburse them. So that's why we don't have so much expenditures.
Yeah.
Same thing with the quality of life projects with the City of Brownsville. If you approve, let's say 5 million in quality of life projects for the City of Brownsville, it won't be showing until you under that column until you actually pay it. Until the city incurs those expenses and invoice you all, so
Got
you
it.
can pay them.
So in reality, this 9 months is a month behind still for this year, as far as the balance is concerned, like the expenses. Because we're seeing.
On which one?
Okay, 2025, the actual expenses
The first
was 4,242,000.
4,200,000.
That's actual 9 months. For 2026, we're saying 9 months expenses, actual, but in reality, we still lagging behind.
Correct,
So I'm
it's
saying,
not
so there is
being
a
paid.
month behind, so. it's-
Right.
Okay. May change.
It'll
That's
be
what I'm saying.
changing,
Okay,
yes.
that's, thank you.
And this may be for Corey. In general, do we have like a deadline, or is there a scenario where like someone doesn't seek reimbursement and we tell them, hey, you have until 3 years, if not, you're not gonna get reimbursed?
It depends on the contact and when they come to us, like you'll see on 2 of our quality of life, they asked for extensions, and that was the Good Neighbors Element and the Adapt Sports, because they still had a lot of funds. And with supply, labor, and all that, they asked if they could extend that. On some of them, like Big, we've seen, because it's a reimbursement, we have seen where, they ask for this much and then we only pay this much because their invoices actually came lower. So it benefits us on that reimbursement. But to answer your question, it just varies on each project and how the communication and what we see in the project moving forward. Is it progressing like it should? It's just taking time. Like the Cameron Hotel has been taking a long time. It's an actually pretty large project. El Jardin's another one. We still have it in the books for the El Jardin for the commercial portion on the first floor. And because they've had things and then it dropped. So we're trying to have a meeting with Carla within the next 2 months to find out, we have that. So it's just the communication and where the projects are actually at.
I have a question. La Posada Park, would that be considered one that I know that they haven't done anything to it, and it was already in the last year? Does that fall under that?
It was a grant match.
That was a grant match, and that grant was not awarded from Texas Parks and Wildlife, but it's anticipated to be awarded this year, or this next cycle. That's why they haven't done anything. Not because they're lazy or they didn't get their shit together. Oh, I shouldn't say that. But because the Texas Parks and Wildlife grant didn't come
No,
through.
because I was reviewing the stuff that was sent over to me, and my mom lives right across
Yeah.
from that daycare, like literally right across. And so I was like, I haven't seen anything, and I know it's there, and so this is a good time for me to ask, so that makes
Perfect
sense.
time.
This will actually be the 3rd time they've applied for this coming session for that grant, and each time they're getting closer and closer to getting funded, and they anticipate this time they'll make it. So that's just the way that particular Texas Parks and Wildlife
And
really has a
it's
lot of hoops you have to jump through.
I believe it's a 50-50 match.
I think
So
so.
they're going
Yeah.
for Texas Park for the same amount, 750,000, and so we went ahead and match it for 750. The deadline to apply, I believe, is either this week or next week for the grant. And then they will know normally around November time.
So they applied for it, we're just waiting for that grant to kick in, and then that's when we put in our 50% of it. So then our 50% is still there technically because it hasn't been taken out, correct?
Yeah, it's been committed, yeah.
It's under committed.
Okay.
Yeah, that one will probably be under the, what is it, the 5.3?
Yeah, and that, just as a reminder, that 750,000 was not part of the ordinance that was passed. It was the board approved it prior to the passing of that ordinance. So if anything happens, that's actually BCIC funds.
Any other questions? The next slide that I have is just a sales tax history report for comparative purposes. As we can see, we've collected sales tax through the month of May. Compared to last year, we've collected $257,000 more, which is at about approximately 4.9% increase in sales tax revenues.
I have a question related to that tax revenue. We've been talking about trying to find like the increase within the downtown district. Have we been able to get there to find that specific, you know?
For us, no, but the city, last time I had a conversation with, it was actually on Monday, the city is gonna go for a professional service contract. And this consultant will actually be able to do it per district. I don't know if it's downtown as part of it or just the district, but they're gonna do it by district. It's something we can't do on our own because it's the way the comptrollers, they just throw it all in.
So just for historical sake, back when I was first chair, 10 years ago? We asked for that because we were beginning to make changes downtown and we wanted to know that. And we were told no at that time as well.
The only person who can request that information is the city manager. And I know that since recently, and it might be the contract that the city is looking into, there's some software companies that have agreements with the comptroller, so I think we'll be successful with that round.
So it only took 10 years?
Only 10 years.
Yes. Yeah. You know how the city works.
But I think now the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
That, you know, we have been talking about big for the last 3-4 years, and now the city adopted the strategic plan or the downtown, you know, revitalization plan. So I think there is a mutual interest between the two
Agreed.
entities to get that data so we can support the investment going forward.
Another thing that we did do during the summertime was our interns actually went and she did a inventory of available properties, something that we know, but there was never really a formal, so she actually went to each one. So we can then take from what's now available and also say what's the impact for the future of what we have activated.
The last slide that I have is a quarterly investment report that for the investment policies, we present it on a quarterly basis. We do show approximately 1.9 million in the demand deposit accounts, 4.8 million in the money market accounts, which is highly liquidity, where if you need money, we can just go ahead and transfer from the money market to the depository bank. And we do show 17 million in the investment pools. And those ones, basically, the days to maturity is 26 days under the Texas class, 30 days under the Texas FEED, and 50 days under the Tex pool. And they're earning interest at 3.55, 3.90%, and 3.65% respectively on the investment pools, which is the pools are the ones that usually earns more interest. The weighted average days to maturity were at 27 days, compared to the maximum allowed by policy, 270 days. Any questions on the investment report? I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
need a motion? Motion to acknowledge the financial report as presented.
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 6, consideration, discussion, and action on the approval of the amendment to the BCIC 2025-2029 strategic plan.
Okay, this is me. Back in June, we had Travis come down to look at where we're at with our strategic plan and had a workshop asking the board, you know, went through all of our 5 goals and the strategies within those 5 goals. And the outcome from that was there was a few things that the board recommended changes, more tweaking, better defined. And these are just for a refresh. On goal 2.2, we had business retention and expansion program. And so we have put in the S for small. So it specifies that we are a small business retention and expansion program. On 2.5, this is actually a new strategy that we added into the entrepreneurial goal, and that was develop entrepreneurial talent and industry connections. We wanted, the board mentioned, wanted more define on what it means for education, partnership, as well as high demand jobs, our interns and all that. Thank you. And so we came up with this new strategy in that. On goal 3, the board asked to reflect it back to the downtown master plan that's going to be formally adopted here next month. And so that's where we changed just the wording and added, the revitalization with the city of Brownsville's downtown master plan. So that way, what we're doing on downtown reflects that it's going towards that master plan with the city. On goal number 4, it's actually another new strategy that was added on, and that is the strengthening entrepreneurial leadership and industry talent pipelines. The board wanted to express what is a talent pipeline with BCIC's I should say the realm that we actually work in, our department and all that. So we defined it better and created a new goal on that. And lastly, on goal number 5 was advance. We added a new one, which was develop and maintain organizational dashboards, performance metrics, and reporting tools that measure our economic impact, including the entrepreneurship, quality of life, and the organization in all, to support, data-driven transparency and such. And then goal 5.4 is also a new one, and we wanted to put marketing and communications on there because that has been stressed by the board to raise our visibility with the community. And so we added the strength in communication, marketing, and community engagement on that. And that is it. Any questions?
Yes.
I have one. Just a quick, what would you consider the high growth sectors for goal number 4 on the entrepreneurial partnerships? It says that
We didn't want to specify what the high growth sectors are in that because every year could be changed depending on what industries are here and leave. But currently it would be advanced manufacturing, bioscience, health, energy, tech, aerospace. Those are the high growth that we foresee in the next couple years. One thing we don't want to forget is what I call our Main Street entrepreneurs. We have learned the past 2 years, we've really been focusing on that emerging industries because of our EDA grant. And we don't want to leave our Main Street, which is our creative professionals, our food and retail industries. We don't want to leave that off the table. So we are looking at other programs. And one is, how we can partner with a cannery on that. But we feel like that's also a growth sector. It's not high demand in paying jobs, but it does create jobs for the community. Tracy, you said you had a question?
There's a lot of overlap, I think, between 2.5 and 4.4. And I think we just need to be really cognizant that while it looks like they're separate silos of work, they're really not. And I wonder if having them separated is going to benefit us, or if there's a way to merge that into one goal. Or maybe I'm missing something about why they were done that way.
I think for 2.5 is more of the the BCIC action, and the 4.4 is more the collaboration between partnerships, where we might be at the table, but we're not, it's not becoming a program, but we're help driving that conversation. I can see in one instance. Because on goal 4 is,
I'm assuming 4 is more tailored to like the partnerships we have with
Yes.
UTRGV and some of the other higher
yes,
eds.
our 4 is strengthening collaborations and partnerships.
Well, maybe you need to just, I actually agree with her, maybe you need to just reword it. Because it does sound a lot like
Okay.
2.5.
2.5.1 actually is partnerships.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm wondering if, yeah, and I agree, I do see that it reads very similar. I'm wondering maybe we meant strengthen enterprise collaborations. I don't know if enterprise is the best word, but kind of like the bigger organizations versus
Include the word partnership.
Yeah.
maybe.
so if I can make a recommendation then we'll take everybody's input on this and we'll table it and we'll bring it back for the next board meeting.
I really think that since almost everything we do is in partnership and collaboration, it's difficult to say under 2.5 that these are things that we're going to be doing independently. So I do think we have an opportunity to merge those.
Okay, and we'll look at which goal it better fits under. And we'll have it better defined then on what our KPIs would be on that. That will help us decide which goal it should go under.
And actually, you also need to kind of think about, are we capable of providing any education, like you said, like within the BCIC for number 2.5 or not? Because if not, then we're not gonna say we're gonna do that and we're not able to do it, meaning like we're not able to provide the classes and the training ourselves.
Right, we'll
We're
should look
always
for a
gonna need
partner.
to tie into some, so, you
Yeah.
know, so maybe that is even not relevant to us. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something to.
Yeah, because we're
consider.
still going to be seeking a partner to carry out the
Okay,
educational
so-
process.
I do think this is an incredibly important goal, and I think the Saronic announcement has really heightened awareness of what a deficit we're going to have in STEM degrees. We're going to need more engineers than we could create in 100 years. So I think we need to make sure that we're really at the tip of the spear on this one if we're going to claim any kind of goal toward it at all.
Agree.
You know, one way to actually be very impactful in this manner is that we do have UTRGB, we have TSC, like we have STC, not so far. TSTC. They offer programs in STEM, but there is always the industry certification that is not, they're not
Yes.
integrating it. Look, they're trying, but it's kind of difficult. It's out there and there is financial aids part of it, like who's paying for what. Maybe that's the gap that BCIC comes in and work with these entities to see, okay, how we can fit these industry certifications with highly, marketable and all the businesses, the industry looking for that.
Yeah, that's a good point, but we need to
So-
find out what's relevant because.
Exactly.
Yeah, Workforce actually has a CompTIA grant right now, but CompTIA's, a lot of industry is shying away from the CompTIA certification. I had a conversation with them a couple weeks ago, which kind of baffled me, but to find relevant certifications that are industry.
Yeah, but
recognized.
CompTIA is specific for, computer
Computer
science,
science,
whatever, but there is, every industry has certifications. And the university and TSC and others, they will offer the degree, but they won't not necessarily offer the, so maybe that's where we focus as a BCIC can and fill that gap. So talking to them and see how we can be part of that.
That's a good idea.
So suggestions would be to table, Corey, is that what you're
Yeah.
leaning towards?
Yes, that would be my recommendation, and then we would bring this back to the board next month.
Motion to table?
I second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
One more question to this. Afterwards, do we want to print a new booklet?
Yeah, our plan is to print.
Okay.
and highlight where we have it, where would be amended and such.
All right, item number 7, consideration, discussion, and action on the adoption of the fiscal year 2027 budget.
All right, good evening. So I'll be going over the proposed fiscal year 2027 budget, what changed after our individual meetings, and the items that we need board approval, board direction. So for fiscal year 2027, the budget includes 9.3 million in revenues and 9.67 million in expenditures. So the difference is 379, which staff proposes covering with available fiscal year 2026 rollover funds. So after using those funds, we have a remaining balance of 400,230 that remains for board direction, and I'll cover that on the other slides. Any questions on this one?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Turned off your mic.
Mike?
I was like, oh, we almost
No,
did it without a question. Oh my God.
I meant to ask and I went for blank. Okay, so we're saying as of today, this is gonna be like, surplus of this year's budget, right? The 400,000.
That's what you have to allocate in today's meeting,
Allocate into the fund.
into the budget.
I understand that, but we have the year still open. Like we haven't, we're not done yet with this year. So are we not anticipating any more, commitments
No.
coming in? Okay, even the big program, because we still have until September. You don't have
We
anything in
have
the
a
budget.
budget for that. You can go ahead, Lori.
Yeah, we already have a budget for the big, so we don't need to worry about the big. This is from what was allocated, a remaining balance, what was allocated in our amendment budget. That this is, with everything that we take in, this is what we have remaining.
But there are other non-unrestricted funds, or is this every dollar we have?
No, this is not every dollar, but we have already,
So during the budget amendment, we increased the line item, the quality of life
Okay, that's one.
line item, and we're not using those funds, so it's what we're gonna use.
yeah, we don't foresee
Okay.
anything coming in next month for that.
All right, sorry for the delay. I just want to confirm that this is not going to impact anything still pending for this year, as far as, okay. Thank you.
All right. So, what changed after our July's, was it June? July's individual board meetings? So during our individual meetings, the second 500,000 from GBEDC payment had not yet been confirmed. It has now been confirmed, and it has been included as our fiscal year 2020, as part of our fiscal year 2027 revenue. So that reduces the amount of rollover funding needed. So now the GBEDC funds are restricted and must be used for entrepreneurship and innovation expenses. And I'll go more into that on the next slides. And this is just an overall visual representation of, so most of our revenue comes from projected sales tax, followed by interest, and GBEDC funding, EDA grant, and other revenues. And the proposed expenditures exceed projected revenue by 379, which will be covered with a portion of our available rollover funds. So now this slide gives you a comparison between the fiscal year 2026 amended budget and the fiscal year 2027 proposed budget. So overall revenues are higher and expenditures are lower, and I'll go through each section in the next few slides. So for the operations budget, it's approximately at 2.2 million, and that reflects the resources needed to support BCIC staff, programs, and also day-to-day operations. The city quality of life commitment is approximately at 4 million, and that's including the 500,000 for the sports park M&O. Now, we are proposing 1.5 million for community development programs. This includes quality of life, business improvement grant for downtown, Big Lift, and also sponsorships. Now for entrepreneurial and innovation, we're proposing approximately 1.16 million for these programs, and this, the GBEDC partnership supports approximately 67 of this budget, and this allows us to focus more of our local funds on other priorities. So we also streamlined several programs to focus resources on initiatives with stronger participation and impact. Now for strategic projects and investments, we're proposing 245,000, and that includes 200,000 for board-approved initiatives and 45,000 for e-bridge infrastructure improvements. And for city service contracts, which includes the administrative and HR services, and the airport debt service, that's 445,000. Now for the e-bridge fund. The e-bridge fund is maintained separately from BCIC's operation funds, and it has its own fund balance, and it's approximately 1.3 million. About 950,000 is available for lending, and 350 is available for program administration. So these funds are restricted and may only be used for the revolving loan fund. Did I skip one? No. Now what's available? So we identified 709 in total available rollover funds. We're using 285 for entrepreneurship and innovation as the GBEDC agreement requires, and 24,379 for community development. So that leaves us with 400,230 for allocation. So at this point, we're asking for the board to, for the board's direction on how to allocate the remaining funds.
Mike?
Can you go back to that slide where you show the allocated funds as of today for the 2027? Like the distribution of the fund, that big, where it shows like, yeah, keep going. Keep
Let
going.
me know which one.
Sorry, it's somewhere there. I think it's one more.
No?
Keep going.
And then I'm going back.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, maybe we missed it. Where you have the, I think that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have BCIC operation, you have a 13.4% increase, right? Quality of life. 7.7, no, that's not it.
And you do have a detailed spreadsheet in your meeting packet.
There, one more slide, I think it's the next slide. Here we go. That's what we're looking for, okay? So those are the four main, programs and so forth. And we did have this discussion when we were talking about the budget, like right now, we're having very severe decrease throughout the programs, but obviously the first one, the grant, the quality of life initiative, minus 70, 80% to compare it to others, minus 25 and 20. And the idea is like having that talk, the conversation with the city, and see if we can move some of this money back so we can continue to support this program. Obviously, this conversation is still going, as we heard, and we don't know how it's going to go or what we're going to be the end result of it. So I think not to complicate things and not to make it too much of a lengthy discussion, looking just into that, we need to be kind of having any additional funds that we have to redistribute, to try to keep the distribution of the overall funds even among the four major programs that we have, which is quality of life, business, big lift, and sponsorship, right? Okay. And seeing what we're seeing here, obviously there is a huge reduction in the quality of life initiatives versus the others, right? I'm not saying take the whole 400 there, but we need to just take that into consideration that a good amount of that additional fund we have need to go back to bring that reduction a little bit lower than what it is right now.
That's a good observation, Murat. Quick question, the GBEC, that's a one-time opportunity, right? That's not going to happen the
We'll
following fiscal
receive
year?
the first MOU, the first funds. Well, we signed the first MOU, it was from fiscal year 2025, correct? Then we're going to receive the additional 500,000 fiscal year 2027. So it's
So
basically.
potentially, there's rollover funds, okay.
Yep.
It's something we would lobby for every year.
I see.
I agree with both of these guys that 78% is an enormous number and really puts an enormous strain on many of our not-for-profits in the city, because this entity is one of the only places that they can go locally for support. So that's pretty huge, and it will create a great deal of strain on many not-for-profits doing good work.
If I can add to your comments, that you're absolutely right, Doc, that that was the nature of the conversation that we had with the mayor and Alan, and we said, and just to be clear, it was a positive meeting, it was a great meeting, and it's like, look, we want to continue this partnership, but for the future and for the future of our budget, and to reduce or to alleviate some of that strain that you just mentioned, I said, we need to work something out. Not remove the ordinance, but I think the big push was to go from 50% to a set dollar amount. Because taxes increase and that 50% just keeps escalating throughout the years. But if we commit to a specific dollar amount, I think that'll help us out kind of, just improve or clear our future path is what we.
But it sounds like they weren't quite ready to say yes or no. They were willing to listen.
Absolutely.
Right. But be that as it may, whether this changes or not, the same thing can happen that happened last year, which is you take the final budget for approval and the commission votes to change a particular line item, which, so in other words, I think it behooves us to try and massage things so that they are more amenable or likable to the commission.
And actually, if we go with this spirit of like, we're trying to even up our resources to support the four main pillars of our programs, right? That will show that we are actually very sincere in our commitment to trying to support the programs. So I guess what I'm saying is like, we should use the 400,000 to, again, even up the distribution for now. And if we get to the point where the city is allowing us to use some of this or put a cap, then we can revisit, because the idea was we're going to take that extra whatever we're going to get from the city, put it into one pot. Now that we're going to do the distribution, we can do that again once we get the money again, once we amend the
We subscribe at BWC, we subscribe to a website called Texas Grant Watch, and it's supposed to be a place where nonprofits can go to look for grants in the state of Texas. And it's a really big data set, and I don't know if it's the only one, but it's the one that was recommended to me, so I subscribe to it. And so you put in your location, what you do, what you're looking for, and your county. So I put that all in, and the result spit out 2 entities, Valley Baptist Legacy Foundation and BCIC. So that, that's.
Oh, really? Like a source?
That's it. That was it. If you live in Houston or someplace else, of course, there was a whole lot more that came up. But this organization is important to local funding.
Well, one of the other things that they touched on was kind of expanding their grants, the city's grant departments, and how we can collaborate more with them and make it more public, and maybe hold something here. And they were all about, they liked the idea.
So they have expanded their grant department, and I can't say enough wonderful things about it, because they took myself and Tanya through a USDA grant, which we had never done before, and they took Murad through a Methodist Health Ministry grant. They are fantastic. But again, the question is, you have to find those grants, and I have always said, even back to Corey's younger days, my younger days too, not just you, that this entity can serve as a resource of excellence in terms of, oh, you need help? Okay, well, these are the places that you can look for money, and let me take your hand and connect you to the right people and see if you can get those funds. So we're not actually giving the money, but we're providing that support and much more so than just giving a training. Very important to give the trainings, but serving as that repository of where they can go to look for grants is very important.
I think the quality of life, minus 78%, is very misleading, because we are doing 4 million quality of life with the city. So it's really about 4.5 million in total quality of life, which is the max amount that we're doing. I think the 400,000 is great, seeing that the big lift was such a big success in District 1, and we're only anticipating even more. And I think, just speaking with a lot of small business owners, they can't fathom the fact that we have more money for downtown than we have for the whole city. So I think if we add another 100,000 to each district, that'll be perfect, and that'll be the 400,000 there. And we can take the big lift to 900,000.
I think that your point is well taken. However, these quality of life grants are really going to nonprofits, not to the city. The city is not giving money that they receive to nonprofits. So I think it's misnamed, if you will. To the last strategic plan that this organization did, I wasn't on the board, neither were you, but they said, if I'm not mistaken, we fund quality of life through economic development. Am I right? Economic development is a quality of life thing. It is a quality of life thing to have a job, to be trained, to have small business loans, to have facade improvement. Everything we do is quality of life. There are differences between some are green space focused and some are job training focused, but to see it as a silo of just quality of life is a misnomer. Or we are then, this board is going back and changing the definition of what we do. This is different. This pocket is not for the city. It is for nonprofits, basically.
So I have a question. So for example, Dean Porter Park, right? That's the city. They asked for $195,000, which we gave them, right? Did the city put in anything, or we put in all $195,000? But the
In-house labor, which when they do their reporting, their applications, do they include their portion of any? Yeah, they don't include, but I would say a majority of those projects are done in-house, so they
By
don't
us.
contract, they
Okay.
don't contract out.
So Gonzalez Park, pool renovations. I know that I was new when we talked about these things. That was $496,000 that we gave for that, right?
Yes.
And the city did put in labor, right?
That's correct.
That's how they do their part. Okay, so then after I kind of did the math, well, I didn't kind of, I did the math. So for this year, quality of life with the sidewalks and trail master plan, the Morningside kickball fields, the Olivera Park, blah, 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 and all of this stuff, we spend about $3,719, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then for nonprofits, well, for sponsorship, Tu Salud, Si Cuenta, 150.
Yeah,
Okay, and that was completely done by us, right?
yes.
No one else put in anything.
No, I take that back. The city also has a staff that supports the programming.
Okay. Duckhead Native Research Center, that's the UT RGB Foundation, 300.
Yeah, and that was a gap. They have, I think, 1.5 million that they receive from other grants.
Okay, so I kind of did and then we also helped out the Children's Museum, Friendship of Women, which I believe is super, super important.
Yeah.
That was 1,174,000.
Yeah, and for those grants on our quality of life run by BCIC for the nonprofits is 80/20.
So then technically speaking, I mean, from what I'm seeing is that we are funding more our parks, trails, and everything else than actual nonprofits.
That's correct.
As per the city direction, that's what they wanted to fund the quality of life to go. Well, there's a big
With
history.
the ordinance, the city's taking 50% of our sales tax.
So then,
And-
I guess that's what Mike is trying to say. So not only do we give them 50%, but then we also give them additional, right?
We give the nonprofits, that's what, yes, that's where we're
Yeah,
kind of.
but
Well,
outs-
but we're giving them
What?
$3 million.
That's what we're talking, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you're on the right track. I see it as two buckets. The city's bucket of park improvements, quality of life, that's 50%, that's by ordinance.
Right.
And then we have this other bucket that Dr. Godwin has talked about, which maybe could be better renamed, but those are nonprofit initiatives and grants that we have funded. So just to kind of hopefully help clarify how that's broken down.
Yeah, but all of these are not, the parks and stuff was in city ordinance, because you did label on the Excel sheet the ones that were city ordinance, right?
Yeah.
So for this year, there wasn't any, these were just ones that we gave to them, right?
It's a city ordinance. They get 50% and they use it for parks and trails and all of the public spaces improvement.
Okay.
So, and they come to us to let us know how they're gonna spend it and so forth, because it's reimbursement.
How they're gonna spend the money, the 50% that
The
we
50
gave
we
them.
gave them, right? But then we, as an organization, we still have control over the funds that we put for the nonprofits and other, quality of life projects, for the lack of the
Which
term.
this year was a
So-
little over $1 million.
So, seeing again, we have 4 major programs that we're supposed to support, right? And they fit into our strategic plan that we said that we adapted, or we're working toward accomplishing. So, to reduce the gap between these, 4 programs, I propose, so we can move forward and see, we will take the discussion after that if there is more discussion. I propose to add from the 400,000 plus that you presented to us. I'm gonna keep it 400 even, and you can put the change. Add 200,000 to the quality of life, so that brings it to 550. Keep the 600 as is. Add 100 to the big lift, so 600 big lift. And then the remaining balance of 100 plus will be going to the sponsorship. That way you have a more kind of even distribution, plus or minus. So you have 550, 600, 600, and 200. What was the total?
I thought sponsorships had to stay at like 20%.
10%, 10%. So we have 10% of our sales tax, or, I'm sorry, 10% of.
I propose something similar. I would say 150 to the quality of life to make it 500. And then the remaining 250, I would like to send it over to the Big Lift program to really help out the whole city.
Can you say that again, Mike, please?
I would say 150 to quality of life to make it an even 500,000. The remaining 250 to the Big Lift program for the citywide entrepreneurs.
You're not balanced.
No, that would be at 750 Big
Yeah,
Lift and
we
500,000.
So that's what I'm saying, like,
That's
we're trying to keep
400,000.
it.
Yes, 400,000, 150 and 250.
He needs proportionate.
Proportionate-wise, it's not balanced. I mean, if you want to add more to the big lift, you take from the sponsorship. I mean, I was going to go with 600 across the board, and then the remaining for the sponsorship, like 600, 600, 600, even. Keep it even among the 3 programs. And your deduction is way more for the quality of life comparing to last year. Even with the 600, you're going to be at the 50% deduction versus the rest will be 25. Big Lift now actually will have plus percentage, right? And the sponsorship, whatever will remain after that from the 400. So.
I don't think you should reduce sponsorships. I think they're important.
I'm just-
And- No, I know that. I'm just voicing my thoughts. I also wonder if we should change from the title of Quality of Life Initiative and Grants to Nonprofit Initiative and Grants.
I
Are
think
there
we
any
should.
that apply that are not nonprofits?
Yeah, we do have for-profit that do apply.
We do? I just think the term is very misleading.
I think it sounds like there's a lot of different directions that the board wants to go. But I guess first question, do we have to approve this by this meeting?
Yes, we need to have a proposed. Yes, we need to have a accepted proposed budget to take to city commission next week.
Gotcha.
I agree with Ms.
We have a board workshop to present the budget to the commission, and from there, then we can depending on their input, then we would, one, either come back to the board, or we then go forward to a public hearing at the city commission. And then the end of August, we would have adoption by the board.
I have a question. Is there any way that we can, because I agree with Ms. Rose, right? Because when I was reviewing this stuff, we did help a lot of the parks, but I do see that we did help the Moody Clinic whenever they had to do stuff
Yeah.
like that, the women's, and it's good to help those people, like those nonprofits, like it's good to help. I worked for a nonprofit organization, and so any little thing did help. But I agree with her. I think the name is kind of like, because you automatically, I see quality of life and I think, oh, parks and this and that.
Community and business grant, quality of
Yeah, there
life
needs to be like a
grants.
sub, just term,
So
but
I think,
I guess
Maybe
it
just
can't be.
community,
So,
Yeah, I
community
like that.
initiatives and grants.
so I think that maybe it would be good to do kind of like how Mike, I would agree with kind of what Mike said, but maybe geared it more towards the nonprofits as opposed to parks and stuff, because we already do give the city, right, a large amount. So I think gear it more towards nonprofits, because
Yeah,
I think we do need that. And then the rest also, I agree to the other 200, no.
We didn't do anything with
Two.
parks. When they came to
No.
us, we didn't do anything with
No, what I'm
parks.
saying is change the naming, right, or just to kind of gear it towards more, that money for nonprofits and the rest for the big lift.
so based on this conversation and based on Mike's suggestion, I have a counter suggestion to, hopefully that we'll all agree on. Make the quality of, whatever we're gonna call it, community development initiative 600. Keep the big 600, and the remaining of that balance, whatever we have from the 400, goes completely to the big lift. Meaning, you're adding 250 and 150 to the big lift. So the big lift becomes 650 plus.
So you're saying, you're not gonna touch sponsorships
No,
at stage,
no, we're
right?
not gonna
Okay,
add.
I agree with that.
250 to the big.
And we
to
wanna
the-
support Big Lift more,
So,
right?
and so 600 community initiative and grants, right? So that you're gonna add 250 to that. Keep the 600 for big as is, don't touch it. And what was the total 400? Like, what was the total?
It was 400, 230.
Something.
Yeah.
The remaining amount of the surplus completely goes to the big lift. So the big lift will become 650 something.
So it's 150.
I'm down.
So that
So
would be
that's my
650.
motion.
Make the motion, I'm good.
I'm okay, but let's take off 100,000 from the
Hold,
big.
you've got a motion?
I got the motion.
And a second.
Wait, just to clarify again,
Yeah, 'cause that was the thing.
250,000 for the community
Yes.
portion,
Yes.
and then 150 to big lift.
The
Whatever the
150, whatever the remaining
Yeah.
balance of the surplus. What is it?
Okay,
What's the-
and not adding to big
And-
downtown.
And who made the motion?
I did.
Oh, I thought it was Stephanie.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Oh,
But you-
I
there's
thought it was
still
Stephanie, or, okay, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You make the second, it's fine.
No, go ahead. No,
Discussion.
I just didn't hear
There's
correctly.
discussion now, though, so.
So,
Just
there was a mistake on my part. I thought it was Stephanie who made the motion, but could you just clarify the motion, Morado?
Okay,
Just to be
the
clear,
motion
I'm
is
sorry.
add 250 to the community initiatives and grants to bring it to 600. And assign the remaining amount of the surplus to big lift program, which will be equivalent to,
150,230.
So
Exactly.
650 to lift.
big
And
lift.
just to clarify further, it's to approve the budget for 2027
Yes.
with those.
Yes, with those changes,
But
yes.
we are focusing that extra additional money towards nonprofits,
Well, nonprofits and big lift.
to the first
and
one,
big
right?
lift.
Yeah, not
Big
for
lift.
city.
How did we go from Marat wanting 550 to now we got another 50,000 or 600?
Because I moved
Because
that
you took away the
sponsorship and added to
But
big
you wanted
lift.
to put it to sponsorships, Marat.
But
The-
we
that's
we
the
got
same.
clarified that we don't need to add to the
Yeah.
sponsorship, so I'm trying to meet you in the middle and add more into the big lift, which I agree with you. I was trying to make it even, but
So
if
that
there
would
is
be
no need to add
600 for each
sponsorship.
category.
I mean, in reality, we're only adding one more business, $30,000, one more business.
But that's why we're gonna continue the conversation with the city. If we get more funds back
But
from the
that's for-
city, we can go back and redistribute
But
it.
that's to give more to the nonprofits. That conversations with the city is to give to the nonprofits, not to give to the businesses. So that's where, for me, it's a little bit, where I'm hesitant because I know we saw, I mean, they did a report on how excited the city is, how excited the commissioners are about the Big Lift program. And I mean, really, we're only helping, what we're adding is one more business, $30,000. That's what we're adding, one more
But you
business.
also have to keep in mind,
It's 150 extra.
yeah, and you also have to keep in
Well, I
mind
mean,
the
but you
fact-
divide it by the 4.
But you also have to keep in mind, this is something, and I mean, it was brought up, and this is something that's new. And with anything new, you know, people are hesitant, people are like, on the fence, because they don't know, okay, well, what's the catch? What are they gonna? So only with years, you're gonna see, just kind of like the Big Lift, you're gonna see more people applying, and then from then on, we can grow that,
That program. Yeah.
But right now, a lot of people are a
No,
little
no.
bit on the
And
fence.
also,
They don't know
I-
how
may-
it works.
No, a lot of people applied. I think it was 400 and some in monetary that they're asking. We only have 125. That's for District 1.
If I may, that's also our case to the city of why we need to have a structure portion to the city. That way we can do our
More.
programs
We can add
at the
more.
level that's being
Yeah.
asked.
And also, I want to add one thing. Those nonprofits, collectively, they provide services to customers and to community members who otherwise won't have access to these services. So that's also very important. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, like it's like, you know, to support a Moody Clinic or to support a West, League, and those collectively, they help uplift the community and to help those community members to actually go to the businesses and spend money. Otherwise, it becomes like a vacant vacuum hole, right? So again, I wish we have another 10 millions and give 10 millions for each program. We don't. I'm trying to make it where it's kind of evenly distributed, and listening to the conversation, it seemed like we don't need to go back to the sponsorship, so keep it as is, but the remaining balance to the Big Lift, so which I agree with you. We need to put more, but at least this is what we can do now. So, again, my motion, 650 plus 100. And we have a second.
So there's
There's a
a
motion.
motion and there's a second. Deborah, is there anything else that we need to add so we can all vote on this?
Unless there's more discussion, you can.
Any other comments?
Well, I mean, we still have to vote on that motion because it's
Correct.
seconded.
Correct. Okay, there's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I need,
All those opposed?
if I can have
All
hands.
those opposed?
I mean, I don't agree with it.
Okay. So we have six
I voted
ayes?
aye.
Okay. So motion passes.
Motion passes, thank you.
We survived, everybody, we survived. Everyone's alive.
That's all right.
Yes. So we'll be taking it to City Commission this coming, next Tuesday, I'm sorry, August 4th, for a workshop. Then depending on their feedback, then we either have a special call meeting or we move forward with a public hearing at the City Commission on the 18th. Yeah.
I hope so. Again, I'll say a prayer for that.
Item number 8, consideration and action to approve fiscal year 2026 business improvement and growth, BIG, application for the following.
Hello, I'm going to take about 45 minutes just on this one item, guys. so be ready.
What do you think?
He wants to get strangled, apparently.
So PROGRA, I'm kidding. Today we have one item for the Downtown Big program. Of course, as we know, the program overview is to support downtown revitalization through strategic investments that reduce startup costs, restore historic properties, and increase business activity in Brownsville's urban core. Today's application will be for our standard rehab program, so eligible uses are facade restoration, as well as other exterior improvements, paints, murals, lighting, historic signage, window and door and awning replacement, MEPs to bring the interior up to code, as well as soft costs, including architecture, engineering, and historic preservation consultants. Ineligible uses is roof repair, HVAC installation, grease trap installation, flooring, carpeting, asbestos testing, or other cosmetic improvements. Funding is up to 50% match of eligible cost, $25,000 for the exterior, $35,000 for the interior. Our applicant today is our same applicant from last month. It is SGSW Enterprises, Mitorito. They're requesting $3,000 for facade, which would be for the installation and manufacturing of a new illuminated business for the sign. Project timeline would be end of August. The reason they're applying this month is because they were not able to get approvals from the city permitting until just recently. They had actually been trying to get approvals since March.
Because we talked about this one already, we had already,
Correct, for the interior. But when
Yeah.
they submitted the last one, they still had not gotten approved by the city for the sign.
So we're supporting the sign for now. This is the, okay.
So just $3,000 for the facade. I'm sorry, this didn't take longer. If approved, our budget would be $205,550. So,
Motion to approve.
thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item number 9, announcements.
My announcement is just let me know who's interested in attending the trip to Washington DC and IEDC. And then from there, we'll decide, we'll take it to Cesar because we can only have 3 board members attend. So we don't have a
IDC?
quorum for both. We don't want a quorum.
Oh, so you're gonna have a meeting during that time?
Oh, okay.
We should.
I mean, we used to have more boards going to the IDC before.
I'm interested in
Yeah, we did. We had 7 one time.
Oh.
We could have the meeting there.
Anyways, that's announcement. I don't know if we have any other events coming up.
We have Moody Clinic, but that's in 2 weeks.
Oh, the ribbon cutting?
Yes.
Okay, ribbon cutting for Moody Clinic. And that's it?
Adjournment. Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I got a second then.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, we want to vote on that, yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
One foot out the door already.